and looking for all the different angles that are popping up on what's happening in the U.S. Senate. As we all know, big week this week for Brett Kavanaugh and big week for the senators considering the nomination. Blockbuster revelations about sexual misconduct or alleged sexual misconduct by the nominee. And a flailing of old white men contorting themselves every way they can to preserve white male supremacy. Bare before the whole world to see. Everyone on earth got a chance to see the true commitment of these old white men to white male supremacy, and they're willing to go down in the history books as legends to white male supremacists. They'd rather sacrifice their political careers, Beth. They'd rather give it all up just for old white men to be able to sit around the barbershop and talk about what a patriotic hero they were for standing up. But standing up for what is my question. Well, I just answered it. White male supremacy on full display in the United States Senate this week. So, what do you say about that? Yeah, I've never seen such ridiculousness in my life, and it was the most comical thing about it, if you can call it that. The most comical thing for me about the whole episode was simply that the Republican senators they abandoned, they tried to make a big deal about wanting to handle this in the most sensitive way possible and have have a woman. They tried to create all the right optics, which was a farce in and of itself in the first place. And then, like little kids, they just couldn't stay disciplined and let the person they chose do what they asked her to do. And it was clear, to me, Beth, after watching I was busy this week and actually, unfortunately, didn't get to see this live. But when I watched when I watched it last night, what was obvious to me is that the woman that they asked to serve as the questioner for this proceeding was not and had not and probably was not planning on drinking the Kool-Aid that they had ready for her to consume. And so after she refused the Kool-Aid, and it looked like she was going to actually be non-partisan, non-biased, objective, and using the what she's learned about flushing out reality as a prosecutor, she was taking that approach And you're right. They saw that going badly very quickly once she really got into those deep woods with Brett Kavanaugh. And so they decided to just turn the whole thing into a complete and total farce by killing all questions and moving forward with editorial hour.
Well, I think you mentioned childish earlier, and
yes.
One of the most striking things I thought, even shocking,
right,
that I was not prepared for, was how immature Brett Kavanaugh was.
I think that was probably. I mean, now if you put the allegations aside. I don't know that his temperament is one that I would want on the bench on the Supreme Court.
The majority of the American people.
The temperament. Beth, what's up with the temperament? I don't get how he expects America to think that he can judge cases and be completely objective and unemotional, because we obviously know there are certain issues that are clear emotional hot buttons for this guy. And his lack of composure. I mean, even Clarence Thomas, who really, I think, with Anita Hill's testimony, with the FBI investigation, with the additional witnesses that came forward, with the senators who did go after Clarence Thomas. I mean, they did go after him. It's not like everybody gave him a pass.
Yeah, but don't forget, Biden wouldn't let those other 3 witnesses testify and corroborate her story.
No, I understand that. I understand that entirely. However, that process, as flawed as it was not nearly as flawed as the process we have today.
That's right.
And Clarence Thomas endured a withering process once Anita Hill was discovered, and once Anita Hill came forward, and he composed himself. The thing that kept Clarence Thomas was that he didn't turn into angry black man.
Yeah.
Right? He refused to turn into angry black man. President Obama was very good at that, not allowing anyone to turn him into angry black man. I, unfortunately, am not as good a man.
Well, let's be real about that, too. Actually, there was an article by Jonathan Chait in the Washington Post this morning, an opinion piece, that talked exactly about that, about how black men, have to make sure that they never behave that way in public if they want to be taken seriously, or, I guess not feared, but,
Yeah, if they don't want to shut down the whole thing with fear and terror, because, an angry black man makes everybody upset. Beth, we got to take a quick, short break. But y'all, when we come back, we are going to dig right back into it. Got a lot more to talk about and break down from the Senate hearing. We've got Mayor Alan Weber coming on. Santa Fe Mayor Alan Weber will be here with us shortly. At the bottom of the hour, actually. We're going to talk about what's happening in Santa Fe, Beth, and we're going to get the breakdown from the mayor himself about how the Santa Fe Police Department refused to participate in this calling the police on black folk just for being black. And I want to hear from Mayor Weber what we're doing to make sure that there are no chimmy kimmies here in this great city different. Y'all stay tuned. We will be right back right here on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader. You're on Call to Reason, and we will be right back. And by the way, y'all, this whole show is dedicated to women. All women artists today. So I hope y'all enjoy the soundtrack.
Tell me what you want from me. Concentrating on my music, lover, and my face. Let me wanna ask you later for a ticket out of town. So can I get a window seat? Hey, I wanna ride next to me. I just wanna take it out of town to look around and say good time.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Beth and I are having a great time, as I hope you are as well. And Beth, I tell you, this Senate thing this week
Good
just
morning, Team Red Pill.
blew my mind.
We've already got some folks tuned in to our Facebook feed. Christopher Freeman, good morning. Amber, good morning to you as well. We are going to get to them today, Obituary. And my mom, Liz Whitaker from Chatham, Virginia, joining us. Hey, Mom.
Well, we've got not only one, but we've got two leading talk radio show hosts here with us today. We've got Rashad Ritchie of the Real Talk with Rashad Ritchie, and we've got Robert Patillo of Robert Patillo Show, also a very frequent Fox News contributor. And I tell you, I love to watch Robert on Fox because he obviously is not drinking any red Kool-Aid, and he gives them hell. And he stays so calm. They try every time to turn him into angry black man, and he's like, fuck y'all. I ain't y'all, fuck, like, he cracks me up how they do, but he kills them every time. So good to see Robert, and good to see you too, Brother Rashad. And hey, Rashad, congratulations on winning that Rice Award last night, man. Best entertainment guy in Atlanta, Rashad Ritchie, won the award last night, the Rice Awards, and I'm so proud to know him and so proud to see all the great things he's doing. So congratulations on your big win, brother. And keep hope alive, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to be back here in just a couple minutes, folks. Beth, yes, this week I'm dedicating the music to women. I'm playing songs from strong women, and I'm playing strong songs from strong women because, God damn it, we need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This was a tough week for a lot of women.
Yeah, this was, and
Myself.
it was a tough week for a lot of women, and it was a tough week for a lot of men who had to watch their women feel the pain that they felt with this national disgrace. Brett Kavanaugh is right. This whole process is a national disgrace because he hasn't goddamn withdrawn his name from consideration. He turned it into a national disgrace by trying to stay the nominee with no respect for women, no compassion for women, and got all these old white men, trying to back him up. It's absurdly, obnoxiously ridiculous. It is like mob mentality. It's embarrassing is what it is. Let's say hey to some of our folks here on Instagram as well. Hey, Heidi. Hey. Lisa Matthews, the artist, is here with us. And I can't read the other person because my writing, my vision is bad. Let me come over here and see what we're doing. We'll be back in about 45 seconds, everyone.
But I also wanted to mention that there are a lot of male sexual assault survivors that sometimes get ignored during these times, and I just wanted to offer to say that we see you and we offer the same sort of love.
Yep. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go.
Shout out to Aaron across the top.
Y'all hit that share button, by the way, if you haven't already. Share. Mayor Weber's going to be here at the bottom of the hour, so make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to Call a Reason, everybody. 8:24 right here on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning. 54 degrees on our way to a high of 79. Beth, want to remind everyone who are just joining us, we've got Mayor Alan Weber, Santa Fe's Mayor Alan Weber, coming in at the bottom of the hour to talk about all the good news that's happening in Santa Fe. We're going to talk about some of the work that still needs to be done as well. But we're also going to talk about the city's response and how his office has led the way in responding to citizen concerns over the way certain citizens have been profiling other certain citizens and using the police to try to remove them from their vicinity. We don't think it's going to be a good idea, and we've been fighting that, and the city of Santa Fe has had a response that I find to be very sensitive to community concerns. And we'd like to share that, and I can't wait for the mayor to come in and have us go over that and talk about what he's been doing and why it's working for the city of Santa Fe. We're very proud of what they're doing, and the Santa Fe Police Department as well. Back to the Supreme Court, Beth. With Lindsey Graham, obviously, was determined he was going to steal the show one way or the other, so he acted like a complete fool when he had his moment to interrupt the proceedings. He decided to lead the charge for the Republicans to save Kavanaugh from the woman they thought was going to destroy Dr. Blasey Ford. But it was obvious, as we said earlier, that prosecutor was not interested in a partisan circus. She was determined to flush out what was real regardless of the outcome, which included meaning Brett Kavanaugh could be, roasted like a Christmas ham. And so, once they saw the roaster, once they saw the flames of the roaster coming on, Lindsey Graham jumped across the gate and went bananas. Is that a proper assessment?
I think that's a great assessment, and yeah. So the prosecutor, I think, discovered as she was questioning Dr. Blasey Ford, as she has done, and she's a specialist in sexual assault. That's specifically what she prosecutes in Arizona. And my feeling is that as she was questioning Dr. Blasey Ford, that she realized that she had a very credible witness on her hands, because that's her job. And so when she started getting into ferreting into Kavanaugh's calendar and some of his high school behavior, that Lindsey Graham blew a gasket and realized that they did not have a credible witness. I have to say, Lovelace, I played Little League Baseball, and there was one kid on my team who would argue with the umpire if he called a strike instead of a ball, just sat there and boo-hooed like a baby and would argue with them, and then would cry at the end of our baseball game if we lost. The other boys did not do that. The other boys were good sports, shook hands with the other team, took their balls and strikes, but this Kavanaugh reminded me of that kid on my baseball team. I guess I'm just going back to being dumbfounded over how unbelievably immature he was. It's almost something that I really just can't get past.
No, he acted like that frat boy whose ass if I had gone to high school with Brett Kavanaugh, he definitely would have got his ass kicked. There ain't no doubt about it. If he had said one smart-ass white boy remark from him like that to me would have resulted in an ass whooping he would still be talking about today. And everyone went to any black person who went to an integrated high school in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, knows those guys. And a lot of those guys remember meeting brothers like myself in a not so pleasant fashion because they are so privileged and they just think that the world is here for their entertainment. Again, these senators, literally, Beth, they put their political careers on the line, and they dared you women. They dared y'all. I dare you to vote me out. Because I'm going to go down in history in every white man's barbershop in America as that patriot hero who stood for us and white male supremacy as opposed to stood for decency and the real American way. Because again, that's why we formed MA3 Patriots. Because we have to make America America again. We can no longer allow this word patriot to be co-opted by these white supremacist men. They don't even think women can be patriots. And so, yeah, these senators have said to you women, I dare you to vote me out. I'm taking my stand. I don't care what you think. Go back to the kitchen and shut up. Now, what are women going to do? I can't wait to see. Because these guys literally have committed political suicide. Prove me wrong.
Well, I was in Washington, D.C. this weekend, and I gotta tell you that we're mad, real mad, and they're showing up in record numbers in D.C. There's, and I posted some of the pictures on our Facebook page, but there's one group of protesters, men and women, who show up every week called the Kremlin Annex, and
Kremlin Annex. Well, we'll see.
It's already translated into record fundraising for opposing candidate that Susan Collins doesn't even have yet.
Well, Beth,
It's translating into record numbers of women signing up to volunteer for candidates and driving people to the polls.
Beth, we got to take a short break. Beth, we got to take another break. But when we come back, we've got Mayor Alan Weber here, sitting in the studio already. Now, this is kind of Mayor Santa Fe has. He comes into the studio, pours his own coffee, and then shows up here in the studio booth with me. This is the kind of mayor. I didn't even have to get the man coffee, y'all. Y'all stay tuned right here to Call the Reason. It's 8:31, and it is 56 degrees on our way to a high of 79 in this beautiful capital city. We'll be right back after this short break.
You say that I'm wrong for stating my opinion to you. You say that I'm wrong and there'll be quiet consequences too. But I know my rights, babe. There'll be no law abridging the freedom of my speech or the right for me to petition for remedy of grievances. And I will trust you. I wanna love you, yeah. But you lied to me repeatedly and alone. I wanna have faith in you, but you just don't come through like you said you could. Oh, say, can you see?
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint.
Mayor, how you doing, sir?
Good. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Say hey to Beth. Can you come around and
maybe come over
just sit right here for a
sit in
minute?
the
Say
big
hello.
chair?
Yeah, say hello to Beth.
Hi, Beth. How you doing?
Hey, Beth.
Hey, Beth. She's not listening. Hi, Beth. Hi, Beth. How you doing? Oh, look at that. What's the temperature? There you go.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain here, so it's welcome, nice fall weather.
I hear you had a lot of humidity and, yeah, kind of yucky.
I thought when I moved up here from Georgia that we get rid of a little of that humidity.
All right, I'm going to give the chair back to the boss here.
Folks, we're excited to have Mayor Weber on with us today. He's been doing a lot About 6 months into the job now. Yes.
6, 7 in that neighborhood.
Yeah, 7-ish. And a lot going on. A lot of work still to be done, but a lot going on already. And so we're going to talk about that and how proud we are to have a mayor that jumped on the no chimmy kimmy situation with sensitivity for all Santa Fe citizens, not just the select few. And we just can't get enough of being happy about that and talking about it. We've been telling folks about it since it happened because we believe that all cities should have mayors that really care about the entire constituency, not just the select few. And so we want to salute Mayor Weber and give him a chance to talk about his vision for the rest of his first term and talk about some of the work that still needs to be done as well. We've still got some tough challenges here in Santa Fe. And we're going to dig into a little bit of that right here after the top of the break. We're going to be back in about a minute and a half.
Oh, super.
We've had a few more people join us on the list. I just wanted to say good morning to James Washington is watching. As always, has some good things to say. Adversity and pressure does not build character, it rebuilds it.
That's correct. Just like it builds it, just like it reveals a diamond, it pushes it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very true.
Yep. Yeah, and being president doesn't make who you are, it reveals who you are as well. I think Michelle Obama said that. And she's absolutely right. In this case, we also see Rod Roberts there from Phoenix. There's Stephanie Hampton Smith from Atlanta. We've got Texas, Arizona, Georgia, Alabama,
Virginia.
yeah, New York, D.C., California, and a couple of foreign places too. So I'm excited to have everyone here. Hit that share button if you haven't already. And we're about 30 seconds away from the mayor of Santa Fe.
I think you're the only one who's excited. That's okay. I get that a lot.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unorganized, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. People gonna rise up and get their share. People gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, that's like
8:38 a.m. on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning, 57 degrees on our way to a high of 78 here in Santa Fe. We want to welcome you back to Call to Reason here with Loveless and Beth. And Beth, we've got the mayor of Santa Fe, Alan Weber, is here in the studio with us today. Mayor Weber, welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. I've been listening. You guys are on fire.
We're doing our best, Mayor. Welcome back to Call to Reason. And let me point out that I always love a politician who can keep a promise.
Well,
And you promised me when you were here as a candidate. Give me 1 second, Mayor.
what do you need to do? Reorient stuff? Yeah. I'll fill for you. Working hard here is making the technology go, hitting the buttons, dialing it up. He does it all. He does the soundboard, he does the video, he does the audio, He runs the program. He's got the ideas. And he's back live.
And he's an improviser as well. Beth, I killed the live stream with that last song, but we'll get you back on the Facebook stream. But you are here with us. And Mayor, I wanted to say that I love a politician who keeps his promise. And when you were here running for mayor, you promised you'd be back on Call a Reason if you got elected, and here you are. So
Here we
welcome.
go. I'm happy to be back.
And let's just get to the good stuff first. Mayor, as you know, I was concerned about some of the trending and social patterns that, had certain citizens thinking it was appropriate to use the police to remove other citizens from their vicinity. And as I saw that trend headed in our direction, I began to, invite City Council to do something about it.
You came and spoke. We've got for those who don't know how Santa Fe City Council works, every evening there's a chance for petitions from the floor where anybody who wants to can line up, and we generally give folks 2 minutes, about that time, a little bit over if they go run a little long, to speak their piece right there in front of the City Council. And you, on several occasions, took that opportunity to talk about the fact that people were using or could use police, the power of the police, and the authority of the police to come down on folks who hadn't done anything wrong, and you wanted us to look into it, and turns out we did.
Yeah, and it took. I think the community became a little bit more aware of the possibility of this when it actually happened here. We had an all-subs clerk call the police on a tourist and said she wanted to come and get him because she thought he was arrogant. And it was unfortunately an African-American student. And that student then flagged down the police in fear of his own safety and being in a strange place. And in both instances, the Santa Fe Police Department handled it beautifully, just perfectly. I mean, first, the sergeant who took the call, he was here with us. He refused to send out anyone.
He said there's no crime.
No crime. We're not going to participate. And then the officer on the street who hadn't heard anything about it and was brought into the situation sight unseen, gave himself, in my mind, a gold star by also refusing to participate and letting the all-subs clerk know that was not appropriate behavior.
And if you listen to the audio, there's the dashboard when Officer McDermott was flagged down by the young man who was here visiting from Louisiana. He's a medical student, I guess, studying to be a surgeon. And he had come to Santa Fe, come to New Mexico to check out the Native American population because he's looking at maybe coming back here and being a doc to help our Native American Pueblo communities. And he went over to the store, look at some candy and other stuff, and the clerk didn't like him and tried to get him in trouble. He flagged down Officer McDermott, who happened to be going by at the time, and the audio, the dashboard camera, is something that every police officer and anyone who wants to think about how police officers should behave should watch it, because this gentleman covered himself in glory. The young student is worried, he's scared, he's in a strange city, he's not sure what's going to happen. He's undoubtedly read about what could happen to you in communities where you're a stranger, you're African American, you're young. And Officer McDermott says, we have something in Santa Fe called the Constitution.
Yeah.
You're free to go.
Yeah. And so we had Captain Paulk and Sergeant, I want to say Cook.
The desk sergeant?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you also, I think you might have talked to the chief, didn't you? Or?
I haven't spoken to the chief yet, but we did have those two officers on the show a few weeks, not long after it happened, and really let the city know and just went overboard, letting them know how much we appreciated what they did, because it really does, it shows the world how to operate a civilized society that's equitable for everyone.
And I think, tip of the hat to the Santa Fe Police Department again.
Indeed.
They are, like all police everywhere, under a lot of pressure, under a lot of stress, under a lot of scrutiny. And to handle yourself, like you said, when the officer was flagged down, he didn't know what he was walking into. He wasn't
Right.
sure what the situation was.
Right.
And the training and the character. You were talking earlier with Beth about character, and pressure reveals who you are. It doesn't make you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's not only true for confirmation hearings, it's true every day for the police because they're under an enormous amount of pressure.
It's so true. Mayor, we're going to take a short break, but I want to hear a lot more about what you've been doing since you got elected and what you think the city has as its greatest opportunity.
I'm happy to talk about that. Also, want to talk about where we are with police because we've got some real challenges going forward. And I want to chat about that.
I'd love to hear that, because we do know that we have to recruit a few more officers.
There you go.
And we've got to get good people here in Santa Fe. We're going to keep up this conversation with Mayor Alan Weber here in Santa Fe. You're right here on Talk 1260. We're going to get Beth back on the line. I can't hear her. And we don't know if she is still with us, but we'll make sure she is when we come back from this commercial break. You all stay tuned here to Call a Reason. Looks like we've got a caller as well. And if you want to be on with Mayor Weber, call in at 4024 1260. 505-424-1260 for those of you outside Santa Fe. And we will see you on the other side of the break. 8:46 right here on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning in Santa Fe. You're on Call a Reason, and we'll be right back.
Don't be tempted by the shiny apple. Don't you eat up a bitter fruit. Hunger only for a taste of justice. Hunger only for the truth is all that you have is your soul.
That's all you got, folks.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
I'm also happy to talk about the hearing if you want. I didn't watch it, but everybody I know is totally riveted to it.
Right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll definitely love to have you share some thoughts about that because you are our mayor, and I think it is important to hear from an elected official.
I get to be mayor for 4 years.
What's
That's a pretty
happening?
good gig.
That is a good gig. And I think it's important for people to understand that not all elected officials think this egregious behavior is like appropriate for public service.
Well, and also, I don't know if you want to get into this, but I grew up in St. Louis, which, as you know, is a pretty segregated city.
Yeah, so I'll keep talking. We'll get that back.
I'll catch up with you. You do what
Keep
you gotta
talking.
do.
I can listen and talk. I just gotta bring this.
Well, my mom and dad got my brother and me into a all-male private school in St. Louis, private boys' school. And I knew a lot of people who were Brett Kavanaugh. They were very wealthy, very well off, very privileged. They loved their beer parties. And that was the big thing back then.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
nobody had, other substances.
Right.
And out in the suburbs of the lily white suburbs of St. Louis, you'd have I didn't go to them. I was from the other side of the tracks. But you had these beer parties with swimming pools, and the whole idea was to get as drunk as you could. I mean, he's lying if he doesn't acknowledge that. That was the whole point.
That was the point.
Come on, get real.
That was totally the point.
You're trying to see how it's a mass. It's like a macho thing.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest, drinker in town? What was his thing? How many kegs of beer he was going to drink?
Listen, Mayor, when I was a kid, you couldn't get beer. Like that was one of the other things that used to piss us off is that somehow the white boys could always get the beer but we can never get the beer. So I figured out, because I played baseball, I was the only black person on the baseball team.
What
And so
position?
shortstop.
Really?
And third base, yeah. And so, but the funny thing
I was
is
a second base.
oh, that's a good position. Hold on. Beth, are you there? Hello? Okay. I was trying to get you to say something earlier. And did you hear the interview? Okay, so let's make sure we got you connected again. And I think we might have a caller, so hold on 1 second, okay? Okay. Sir, are you still there? Okay, tell me your name real quick. Roger? Okay. Yeah, hold on, Roger.
You accidentally disregarded phase 9. A. Line things up instead of the rubber hairline. B. It's spiritual.
Okay, Beth, here we go. We got you back.
Look on the bright
You
side.
can't see his pen. He's only on the phone.
Or D.
Hey, Beth, can you jump back on the live stream too? I just tried to like. Okay.
You gotta reboot it.
For more information on educational topics, visit adopt.uskids.org/NN. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Here we go. We gotta get back.
I'm with you. I'm here for you. Do I need to put my headset on?
No.
All the time in his heaven airplane. God had a name, what would it be and would you call it to his face? If you were faced with him in all his glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? Yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger, one of us. Trying to make his way.
Welcome back to Call to Reason, everyone. You're here with Loveless and Beth and the mayor of Santa Fe, Alan Weber. And we are talking city business, city politics. Mayor, let me just say again, because I didn't really get a chance to say it properly, thank you for what you've done. Folks, a day after the No Chimney situation happened, I had the privilege of being with the mayor and the city attorney as a concerned citizen to actually sit down and look at what our possible solution options were. And they've been busy making that happen. Folks, this is what I mean when I say citizen action matters. It does matter, doesn't it, Mayor?
Absolutely. People have a great deal of opportunity, particularly in a city the size of Santa Fe and with the accessibility of Santa Fe, to speak up. And you've been one of many folks who use the opportunity at council meetings, through email. One of my campaign commitments is to make the city government more responsive to people who want to speak to us, and to be more user-friendly, to be more constituent-friendly. And we've built that out, continue to build it out. And if you don't, it sounds crazy, but if you don't complain, we don't know what you want us to fix.
It's amazing how the government aren't mind readers, isn't it?
Well, we try our best to do what we're supposed to do, but it's nice to know where the pain points are.
Well, and keeping in mind that we know that the government, that we aren't mind readers. You aren't mind readers. That means, folks, as citizens, we do have a responsibility to speak up. The government is of, by, and for the people. Well, the of and by, that's us. And so I think it's mandatory that if you love your country, if you love your family, if you love your life, that you stay involved and you let your government know what you need.
And we keep track, just so you know, when it comes down to things like emails referred to or calls referred to the constituent services office, we keep track of the data. We look at what are the top issues that people are having trouble with.
Right.
We're looking for the places where there is friction because we haven't done a good job of responding or anticipating people's concerns, and we want to do better.
Right. Beth, did you want to ask Mayor Weber anything? You've been mighty quiet.
I know. I did have a question. Yeah, the conversation was just rolling, and I didn't want to interrupt. But I did want to just say, for people who live in cities where, and I'm sorry, I'm going back to the situation that happened with the gentleman traveling from Louisiana. For other cities, when the police officers came on to the show, they talked about training. But what I was wondering is, what can citizens do? Because, one of the things that I had thought about doing was going to my city council and asking them to pass a referendum about how we treat our fellow citizens. Is there actually legislation that a city council could pass to address something like this? What are your thoughts?
Great question. I think a lot of, and I said this.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Keep going.
Keep going? Okay. When this incident happened, or didn't happen, because the police handled it right, I think a lot of it dated back to the fact that Santa Fe is a sanctuary city. And the city council went on record a long time ago saying we owe it to every member of our community to treat people with respect and to understand their differences and to not single people out for being different, but instead to extend the same kind of fair treatment, respect, dignity, constitutional rights to everybody. And the police in Santa Fe, having had years of training around immigrant rights, I think was prepared for this situation that wasn't about an immigrant, it was about an African-American student, but it was the same kind of test. Do you treat everybody fairly with respect and dignity?
Well, it's very apparent that the city of Santa Fe Police Department has been extraordinarily well trained, and these officers are disciplined about handling themselves according to their training. And I'm just excited that we've become a model for the nation now. Call to Reason is viewed by people all over the world, Mayor.
But Beth's question is right, which is, how do you get ahead of the curve? And the answer is, it's controversial, but something like a sanctuary city resolution puts the governing body on record as saying, here's how we want our police department, our police officers to do business on behalf of the people of Santa Fe. And then you actually expect those policies to be followed. And they may not always be followed perfectly. I mean, we're humans, right?
Right.
But they understand after years of commitment that this is how the governing body of the city is telling folks we want to have our police officers, our fire department, our first responders, and not only that, but anyone who interacts with the community to do business.
Right. All right, folks, we're gonna stay here with Mayor Alan Weber. We got to go to the news break, but after the top of the hour. We're going to be back. And, of course, next hour, Beth's going to tell somebody who deserves it to shut the hell up. And, of course, I'll be back right after that to tell the next fool to sit your ass down. You stay right here on Call the Reason. We've got Mayor Alan Weber, we've got Beth, we've got Loveless, and we've got you. We'll be back on the other side of the break. 8:59 right here on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning. 60 degrees on our way to a high of 76. You're on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC. You're on Call the Reason, and we'll be right back. What you know about that people snow, man?
They're going to just let him check.
You're listening to Talk 1260 KTRC.
Okay, hold on. He better deal with one of them.
Are you still there, brother? I'm sorry. Are you cursing me? Or did you just curse at me? Okay, goodbye. Have a great day, my friend.
He went and
He called
bonkers.
me a snake.
Ooh,
It's my radio show.
well, I wonder what was
You
on
little motherfucking snake.
Ooh, he said that?
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh,
All I did was say, hey, are you
are
still
you,
there?
yeah, he thinks you left him
Hung up on it.
hanging too long.
This is live radio, man. I'm not responsible for
Good for you. You know he's
that. I've watched him. I've had to distance myself.
he can get scary. When he freaks people out when he comes into the council with his pistol packing presence. People go, what?
Not good. Not good. This is what we do.
Well, that's true. This is,
Beth and I are
you
both,
put yourself out there.
Beth and I are both, you know, we're getting death threats from the Klan and we're on the FBI, you know,
Whoa.
domestic terrorists,
Whoa.
whatever. We've been troublemakers for a long time.
Well, that's
I've been on
okay.
the FBI list since the 80s, man.
You know, death threats would freak me out a
When
little
I
bit.
tried to organize a militia at my college when I was a student body president, I was tired of police killing black folk. And a lot of women had been shot or nearly shot in the little neighborhoods around the campus. So I formed a militia. Told kids, all of that extra student loan money, don't buy a stereo, go get a rifle. We're getting to protect our women from these damn police. I had them like Brother Johnson marching to see, Brother John, like Malcolm X marching to see Brother Johnson in jail, man.
Ooh.
That's what they call me. Actually, my youngest son's name is Malcolm.
No kidding. How old is he?
He's 14.
Oh, wow. You
If
good?
you want to
I'll just sit here if he comes back.
if you want to sit in the big chair and say something to the city,
That's okay. Reading about our school board.
yeah.
The,
How's the school board doing?
well, the headline is School Board, Santa Fe School Board works to address dysfunctional image.
Uh-oh.
That's not a good headline.
That's not a good headline at all.
Do you remember years ago there was a member of the U.S. Senate?
Mm-hmm.
There was a ranking of the stupidest people in the U.S. Senate. He was ranked the stupidest man in the U.S. Senate, and he called a press conference to say he wasn't.
You made it unanimous.
Well, and that goes back to the hearing. You know,
Right.
the hearing with Kavanaugh. We say you're not fit to serve. You just proved it, my
Right.
friend. You just laid it all out there for everybody to see. The mask has slipped, and
Right.
you have just proven it beyond a shadow of a doubt. You do not have judicial temperament. You are disrespectful to. You can't handle strong women who are asking you hard questions.
Nope.
You go freak.
Yep.
That was a moment of truth, as they say.
Okay. on this one too.
I think you should just do a DJ show. Cut the
Tell-
talk. Just
Tell Scott Hutton, man.
play the tunes.
I'm trying to get him to give me a jazz show actually on the cat.
R&B.
R&B. Well, you know, man, I'm a Renaissance man.
Battles 10 to 15.
I want the, there's not really a good rhythm and blues.
There isn't really. You're right. There hadn't been a lot in a while. Okay, folks. In case you haven't already, hit that share button, please. We're here with the mayor of Santa Fe. Alan Weber's here with us,
Reading the
and
paper.
reading the paper, catching up, and we're having a blast with him and with Beth. Having a great time today.
God, I hope the women turn out.
If the women don't turn out, America's lost.
I hear you.
If the women, and I hope y'all are listening to me, ladies. If the women don't turn out, Santa Fe is, the world, America, is doomed.
This is our chance. Don't miss it.
If we don't turn out, you don't turn out, we're all screwed. Because, you know, these Archie Bunkers ain't playing, y'all. They're not playing. And they're going to show up. You know they're going to be there because
that's what they do.
that's what they do. And you know they're so scared right now for their cult leader that they're going to show up. And now they're really pissed because y'all have called him out. The way Brett Kavanaugh was rightfully treated has been viewed as an egregious outrage by these white supremacist dudes who are misogynistic, chauvinistic assholes on top of all of that. And so, yeah, they're outraged. And this should be igniting women, but it really has ignited white men again. So y'all better be careful and you better show up. Hit that share button while you can. Here we go.
Dose of reality is now. Open your mind to Santa Fe's non-GMO, purely organic source of common sense. This is Call to Reason with your host, Loveless Johnson III, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's news talk leader.
I used to kill this one at the skating rink.
I can see it.
This is one where you skate backwards and pull a girl, and dance with her. Have you ever done that?
I don't know. I can't skate. I can't dance and skate. I can't skate all by itself.
9:07 a.m. We're keeping it real right here with the mayor of Santa Fe, jamming out on Call to Reason. We've got Loveless, we've got Beth, we've got the mayor of Santa Fe. Beth, are we not jamming or what?
Oh my gosh, this music selection is on point, my friend.
It's our special tribute to strong women this Sunday on Call to Reason. Somebody's got to give women a little love and credit. We're going to do it right here at Call to Reason. We've got a women-centric, strong woman soundtrack for you. And Beth, I think we may have just gotten a job to DJ the mayor's Christmas party. I don't know. He's loving the soundtrack too.
We need more of that, that's for sure. It's good stuff.
Yep. So, Beth, we're going to keep talking City of Santa Fe business with Mayor Weber. Everyone, if you're just tuning in, it's 9:08 a.m. here in Santa Fe. Looks like we're already at 58, maybe even 60 degrees here 63 degrees now, on our way to a high of 78 in the beautiful capital city of Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we're sitting with the mayor. We're talking city business. Mayor, what are some of the greatest challenges, and what work do you still have to look forward to?
We got a lot of work to do.
Housing is a big deal.
Housing is a big
Huge
issue.
deal.
Well,
Transportation is also a big deal.
and what you started to talk about, which is equity.
Right.
Fairness for everybody, fairness for all sides of the city. If you talk to mayors around the country, we're all in the same boat, which is increasingly we are living in a divided country. We've got people in every city who are doing real well, and we got a lot of folks who aren't doing well at all. and they live next to each other, but they don't have much to do with each other. They don't see each other. They don't expect to interact with each other. We become divided. And it's been going on for a while, but it's gotten worse in the last decade. The division between the haves and the don't haves is really getting serious as a national issue. Santa Fe is not immune. So we've got to deal with economic inequality. We've got to deal with geographic inequality. Here in Santa Fe, the South Side has been ignored for a long time, been treated as a less than part of the city. So we're trying to pour resources and concern and listening to the folks on the South Side. There's a major $20 million bond issue we're putting out. It's backed by our gross receipts tax, so no new taxes will be raised by putting taxes onto people. It's all from gross receipts tax. That money, $20 million, is all for deferred maintenance of things like our 3 rec centers, our libraries, our major facilities, building a new fire station on the south side. So we're making up for lost time. And we're trying to demonstrate through that kind of a project, not just that we can fix things, but we can fix the relationship that has eroded over time between people and their government.
Right.
It's invisible. That connection, you were talking about it earlier. Stand up, speak up, let us hear from you. Well, let us show you that we're listening by putting money into the community, into the neighborhoods. And then it gets down to things like policing. We've lost, or in the process of having a number of police officers move to Albuquerque because Albuquerque, in a very serious situation with its crime, did in fact raise taxes. Mayor Keller went out, raised taxes, and is now paying a lot more money than Santa Fe. We're going to have to find more money for our police officers.
Yeah, I think that's obvious, and because Albuquerque not only has higher pay, higher starting pay, they're giving experienced officers signing bonuses. They're really aggressive. They're being very aggressive. Mayor Keller, to his credit, is determined to get Albuquerque off the top of the crime list. They're number 1 in burglaries in America right now. And number 2 in car theft.
That's right. And they just, to their credit, they just saw a nice little drop in those numbers. So they're making progress. But we need to figure out a way, and actually I've been on the phone with Mayor Keller, who's a friend, and his chief of staff, who is a friend. So we're in a great situation where these are friends of ours. They're not rivals.
Right.
And we're talking about ways to increase the number of police officers and public safety people in both of our cities so that it's not a zero-sum game. It's let's grow more police, more public safety people for all of the communities here and make it a good place to work. And Beth asked earlier, what can cities do about getting police officers to behave and respect people? The other thing that we do here in Santa Fe is we actually walk up to our police officers and thank them. Instead of saying, I don't trust you, you're a very dangerous person. Our citizens, our folks walk up to the police when they see them on the plaza or at events. And we have a lot of public events here where the police are just there to keep the presence. People walk up and shake their hands and thank them. You don't see that in cities all over the
Not
United
really.
States.
But Santa Fe has a unique Officer Smiley down there on the plaza too, and
Yeah.
that's a great ambassador for the police department.
And they're on
for the city.
bikes. They're on bikes.
Yeah.
They're not always, highly weaponized.
Yeah.
So we're working on police and recruiting, retaining, growing more police. Had a meeting last week in City Hall with representatives of public schools, community college, community foundation, private sector companies saying, help us embrace and grow police. Let's get kids who are in high school thinking about a career in public safety. Let's get a career track where you start out as a safety aide and then you grow into being a police officer.
What a great plan.
Working on that, working on housing. The redevelopment of the University of Art and Design campus is a big opportunity for the city to address housing, jobs, the economy, growing young. There was a great event last night down at the Lensic, the documentary film of how Meow Wolf became Meow Wolf
Mm-hmm.
was a packed house at the Lensic. This great film with George R. R. Martin and the Meow Wolf team, really showcasing how Santa Fe is becoming a very cool place to start and grow a business. Tomorrow, Descartes Labs has a ribbon cutting for their new headquarters downtown. They're employing young, talented technology people. I had a meeting a couple weeks ago with the merchants on Guadalupe downtown who were saying, we're really hurting right now. What can the city do to help us?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Brown, our economic development director, and Regina Wheeler, our head of public works, and I were all there saying, okay, we're going to use this as a demonstration project to show the city can respond when small business, mom and pop shops need help.
Mm-hmm.
We want to help. We want to grow our economy. We want jobs so young people will stay here. We want to bring people back. If you've left, if you're listening and you're not in Santa Fe anymore, you wish you were, come on back. The economy's picking up. Housing is getting built. We cut a ribbon, or we didn't cut a ribbon. We shoveled that old ceremony where you shovel some dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Shoveled some dirt last week to do a groundbreaking for almost 50 new affordable housing units out near the new Presbyterian Hospital, which is also opening October 1. Jobs for people, really good opportunity for people to get good health care or have a great job.
Yeah, this is it. A lot of good news coming on. We're going to ask the mayor to hang tight with us, and if he's got more time to sit, we want to talk a little national politics with you, Mayor, after
Sure.
the break. And
Let me go
also,
refill my coffee cup.
we will let him do that indeed, y'all. And we are going to be back right after this break. It's 9:16 now. From the studios of Talk 1260 and 1037 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader, y'all make sure you stay tuned, because when we come back, Beth is indeed, and oh my goodness, you are really going to want to be here for this. She is going to tell somebody or somebodies to shut the hell up. And of course, I'll be right behind her to tell some other idiot who deserves it to sit your ass down. Y'all stay right here with us on Call to Reason. You're on Talk 1260 and 1037 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader, and we'll be right back.
All right, you want some?
No, I'm good. Thank you,
I
man.
gotta get the
Can you zap
you
that
want me to
for
do
like
that for you? Yeah, 30 seconds.
minutes, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you can. Thank you, sir.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
All right, everybody. We're going to try to get Beth back in. I'm going to cut the Facebook feed and see if I can get Beth to join. Hold on before I do that. Hey, Beth. Hey, I've been trying to add you to the Facebook, and it says it won't let me. So maybe if you go to my page and hit the refresh button. Hit the refresh button on your browser, and maybe then they'll let you watch it. And if you come back on to watch it, then I can. If I see that you're watching, then I can add you. And you can come back in. And let's try to get you on, because folks love it as well. And I do too. So somebody's gonna have to shut the hell up here. I'm gonna tell. I don't even know who I'm gonna tell to sit your ass down. But I got so many candidates. I don't even know. I haven't shared it there yet, but I will right quick. Let me do that.
If that's how.
Okay. I'll get it in the group right now. Okay, I just shared it to the group. So you should be able to see it. What did you do? Okay, yeah, we're going to be back in a minute. Less than a minute now. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold here now so I can get back to you. Sure. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yep, we're good.
Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Hit that share button, y'all. Thank everybody for being here. Hit the share button when you get a moment. And spread the word by Call to Reason.
I will follow you into the sunrise of darkness sky. We fly, rise together with our hearts upon our sleep. Oh, to see, we do agree. As the queen of our distance between us, our sail with love for you. I love you.
Coyote.
Love
I don't know.
you.
It's
I do.
great boy.
My children.
Love you.
It's great.
Isn't it nice?
Love you.
Great Sunday morning groove.
Love you. I do.
Is that her?
Yeah. And we love you too, right here at Call to Reason. Welcome back. After the news break, we've still got Mayor Weber here with us. And Beth is back with us too. Beth, this is the time of the show where everybody just kind of wants to know who is going to have to shut the hell up.
So, we mentioned him earlier before, but we're going to have to tell Senator Lindsey Graham to shut the hell up. I found him a Supreme Court nomination on the line. Perhaps he was putting on a really good show for Trump so he could become the Attorney General once Jeff Sessions gets poo canned. But overall, I found his behavior to be despicable. He started off, first of all, as we mentioned earlier, they brought in a female prosecutor from Arizona to ask questions of both Dr. Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh. And as she was getting into the weeds of questioning Brett Kavanaugh, I guess Lindsey Graham just decided that was one step too far and that Brett Kavanaugh didn't deserve it. So Lindsey Graham starts his speech getting a point of personal privilege that was not afforded to Democrats at any other time during this whole fiasco. And Lindsey Graham says, I'm a single white man, and I've been told that I can't say anything, but I'm going to say anything. I'm going to say something. Like some indignant white man, like he is being oppressed. And here he is, a very powerful U.S. senator that gets to pretty much do and say whatever he wants all the time. And he's offended because his power got interceded because of a strategy that they couldn't even stick with by bringing in a prominent prosecutor who apparently is really good at her job. Her job being to question an accuser and question the accused. And my guess is that about midway into her questions with Professor Ford, that she realized that, you know what, I have a credible accuser on my hands. I have a credible victim on my hands. And guess what? That means that the person that she's accusing perhaps might not be so credible. And look at what happened. He's already lied. He's already set this up for the Democrats to go back and impeach him because it's pretty clear that he lied in his testimony. He went as the faithful choir boy on his old Fox interview and declared that he studied and that he went to church and that he was a good friend and that he worked out and he volunteered, that he was a choir boy. One glance into his yearbook shows that to be a flat-out lie. And Lindsey Graham is so upset because we delved into that yearbook. Well, what did we find out in the yearbook? We found out all kinds of disgusting things that he did in high school that, quite frankly, I had to look up in the Urban Dictionary to even know what they were. It's disgusting. And Renata, the woman that they mentioned that being an alumni of the country, who we've all been to high school, all of us have been to high school. All of us know what they were doing to that woman. They were slut-shaming that woman for an eternity of that is in print for eternity. They did that to her. Yet those women who wrote that letter, those 65 women who wrote that letter, lied. They all knew that those guys were not treating women with respect and dignity. That's clear from the yearbook. They lied, and yet their letters are submitted into evidence. So here's the deal. Senator Lindsey Graham, you know what? I really just don't give a damn if you feel like you're a frat boy in his 50s. That's it.
All right.
Is that all?
He's a liar.
Beth, you're right on point once again, folks, and I hope you all were listening. Now, what Beth was, what she just said, I'd like to add to, and I know Mayor Weber would too. And with this last minute or so we've got going into this next commercial break, before I come back and tell the next one to sit your ass down, Citizen Action Matters. Folks, if you don't get that everything we do between now and November 6th, we must, as if though our lives depend on it, because it does, Mayor.
Vote as if your future depends on it, because it does.
It depends on it. It depends on it. This is where we get what we want.
It's not just money. It's not just Democrats and Republicans either. It's people who get it and people who don't get it.
That's right. We're battling for the soul of this country right now, folks, and citizen action matters more now than ever. If you aren't registered to vote, you've got 2 days left to do it. Make sure that all you talk to other adults, 17 and a half, about to be 18 before Election Day, or older, don't have a conversation with any adult between now and November 6th or between now and Tuesday. Don't have any conversation with any other adult without making sure you check to see if they're registered to vote. And if they haven't, make sure they know how to, and make sure they do. And then from Wednesday on, you should not have a single conversation with any adult that comes into your contact with saying, hey, make sure you vote. You're going to vote, right? You need a ride? I'll come get you.
That's right.
Here's the number to a ride. Make sure, folks, this is the election. Now, I know every election cycle, we say this is the most important election in the history of humankind. But folks, it kind of is this time. Actually, it kind of is. And so we need to see maximum turnout everywhere because we've got a big governor's race coming up as well.
Governor's race, we got elections for things like the PRC, which determines our economy.
Right.
Land commissioner, you name it, up and down in New Mexico, up and down the ticket. This is where we've got to get mobilized and vote. And I'm not telling you who to vote for, but vote for sure. It's a big deal.
Well, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for either, but I am going to tell you who to vote against. And everyone knows me. Everyone knows that I am an anti-partisan. I'm not even non-partisan. I hate partisans. I can't stand these political parties, either one of them, because they both rip us off. I can cite the case on either side ad infinitum. But I can tell you this time who to vote against. Vote against those damn borrow and binge Republicans, who, by the way, just passed another $3.1 trillion tax cut, while for the wealthiest of us, while you were looking at Kavanaugh, they were passing another $3.5 trillion tax cut to lay on your great-grandkids' back to ensure they will be born bankrupt. Folks, this borrow and binge, racist, misogynistic, anti-American Congress has to go. Everything that's wrong with this country is because they are in charge of the government. We cannot allow them to provide more cover for Trump while ruining fine American patriots who've done nothing but devoted their lives to protect this country, and you and I. And all they're doing is providing cover for their cult leader. It's time for you to get rid of the cult. Join all of us and bind together with the 60% who are not in the cult, and let's make America America again, and restore the word patriot to its proper context in our lexicon. We're going to take a short break, Beth. We got to take one. But when I come back, somebody's going to sit your ass down. You better believe it. Y'all stay tuned right here to Loveless and Beth. And Beth, this one is for you and Lindsey Graham. You're going to love this one, dog.
It's the big shot.
That's the big stuff.
Big stuff. I love it. What's the date on that?
72, man.
That's great.
Oh, yes, you do. You got a big fine car.
Was she a one-hit wonder, or did she have more? That's pretty good. Good word section, too.
I know, right? Motown, man.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint here on KTRC.
Like that makes
Santa
some good
Fe's
That's
News
pretty
Talk
good.
Leader.
Hey, can you get back on Facebook?
Are you ready for hockey season? Find your top speed when you join Christian Gernat of Gernat Power Skating on the ice Columbus Day weekend and get an edge on the competition. Their unique complete player clinic runs Friday, October 5th through Saturday, October 6th at the Genevieve Chavez Community Center. For registration and more information, visit gpshockeyschool.com. That's gpshockeyschool.com.
So,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna play a
There's
clip.
always something new and exciting going on at the Montecito,
Where are you
Santa
gonna
Fe's
tell?
premier
Sit
resort.
back.
I'm trying to decide right now whether it's gonna be
And
Trump
you don't have to live at
or
the Montecito to take
Lindsey
advantage.
Graham
The Montecito is now
or
offering
all
rock
the
city
Republican
boxing
men
and dancing with
running for their
Parkinson's
lives
fitness
right
classes.
now. I think
Sign
that's
up
where
for
I'm
these
going with.
specialty classes separately,
I'm
or
just
take advantage
gonna
of our
get the
Platinum
whole
Gym membership, which includes
establishment
access
of
to the
shellacking right quick. 'Cause I'm sick of these fools, man. Aren't you?
That hearing was despicable.
That hearing was despicable. It was the most embarrassing. I mean, it made me ashamed to be
It was just
a man
It
in
was
America.
horrible. It
It
was
made me
horrible.
embarrassed to be a man in America. It really did. It made me embarrassed to be a man in America. Because I got women walking around looking at, I'm walking around, women looking side eyed at me like I had something to do with that shit. And don't look at me. I'm not with them. It's not my fault. You know what I mean? But it's hard to, like, how do you prove that? Like, once now we're all in the same barrel, and they think about that, man.
Well, at least Cory Booker and a few other folks said, not on my watch.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank goodness for some common sense.
you know, and they may not have the votes, but they do have the moral high ground.
Yeah, they do. But you know me, I'm kind of a feisty little son of a bitch. I hate the moral victory. Beth and I talk about the moral victory all the time. I like to win.
When I ran Fast Company magazine,
Mhm.
our training video when we hired new people was the speech from Patton,
Mm-hmm.
where he says nobody ever won a war by dying for his country. He won a war by making the other dumb bastard die for his country.
Right.
I like to win.
Me
I
too.
don't like to lose.
Me too. I don't like to lose.
But we don't have the votes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have the votes, the best you can do is rally people so you get the votes.
The Democrats have no balls. They don't need the votes. They have no balls. And I say that because I worked in the U.S. Senate. And I know from my experience and from just my civics classes that the Senate has to have 51 senators present for a quorum.
Right.
All the Democrats have to do is not show up for the Kavanaugh vote, and the Senate cannot quorum. Therefore, they cannot vote him in. Like, it's so simple, but the Democrats don't have the balls to even do that.
Works for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Here we go.
You should be stronger than me. You've been here 7 years longer than me.
Poor lady.
Don't you know you're supposed to be the man? Not pale in comparison to who you think I am. You always wanna talk it through. I don't care. I always have to comfort you when I'm bad. But that's what I need you to do. Stroke my hair. 'Cause I'm forecasting all your laughter. Feel like a lady, yeah, you my lady boy. You should be stronger than me.
Or at least equal. I would say that. I love my brother-in-law Gernot, who is indeed a strong dude, but equitable with my sister Beth, and I love that so much about him. Great example. Well, Beth, I've concluded that there is no one person this week. There's simply not one person this week that deserves to sit your ass down. No, Beth, there are many, many, many people this week who deserve to sit your ass down. Now, I'm going to start with the obvious. every Republican male senator, Lisa Murkowski, oh, well, let me get to the women later, but every male Republican senator, particularly those who sit on the Senate Judiciary Committee who had not even the discipline and courtesy and respect for the process to follow the farcical process they created in the first place. It wasn't my idea. They bring a prosecutor in from Arizona to question the woman so they wouldn't be seen as a bunch of angry old men yelling at this woman. Then they turn around and start yelling at the woman, while their prosecutor, woman, sat with her hands in her palms. 4 hours. And they went on this old white man, self-righteous, get back in the kitchen, get barefoot, get them shoes off, get in the kitchen, woman. This is 2018. Even my grandmother would think that is BS in today's world. And she put up with it and enjoyed it back in her day. Or so the men said she did. Every one of you Republican senators, sit your ass down. No one is interested in preserving white male supremacy except you. And guess what? There's a 60+% group of folks in this country who now have truly had enough and are going to vote you out. You will be replaced. You've committed political suicide, because every time something happens, we say, well, women probably have had enough this time. We think they've had enough. Women are going to finally, strike back. Well, women, I pray you do. I pray that we're not just believing the hype once again, and you let us all down. You let yourselves down. Now, to Senators Murkowski, Senator Collins, you already have set your ass down, and you need now to stand your ass up. The fact that both of you haven't already come out after the farce of Thursday. How much more do you need to see, ladies, before you have had enough? The women of America are looking toward you to be the leader and set the tone for women. If you are giving these old, racist, misogynistic, woman-hating white men a pass in the name of whatever kind of political correctness you delusionally think is appropriate, how in the world do you expect women of this country to stand up and do the right thing if you aren't leading the way, senators? Where are the women in Congress? Even though they don't have a voice in this process, they have voices. Haven't seen any Republican women in Congress come out against this farce of a process. They all need to stand their ass up. And if they won't, then every one of you listening right now, every one of you must stand your ass up and get in your car and get ready to go vote. Get registered. Get every adult you know registered. Make sure you are there. Vote your heart. Vote what is in the best interest of your family and in their future. And I guarantee you, it won't be a Republican left if you just do that. If every American voted in the best interest of themselves, their families, their community, and this country as true patriots, there would not be a Republican left in the House or the Senate. Because they are not patriots. They're white supremacists, greed mongers, bought and sold, and they have nothing of use for you or me. Get real, take your head out of your rear, open your eyes wide, and see what's really going on. $3.1 trillion more of a tax cut for the wealthy behind our backs in the dark of night while we're all distracted with Kavanaugh. Do you still not get what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You have to know by now that you've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. We have been had. Now it's time for us to respond. Stand your ass up and let's go.
You're right. It's not going to be enough for everyone to just get up and go vote on November 6th. Between now and then, you need to be knocking on doors for candidates who support your values, or at least making phone calls, or at least sealing envelopes for them. Bringing the volunteers donuts if you don't want to do that. Whatever it is, do it. We've got 6 weeks before the election. On election day, offer to drive people to the polls who can't drive themselves. It is so important. One thing about this that I think that women do for each other so that we all vote, particularly moms, we need to have a network of babysitters.
Yes, childcare.
After work, childcare, so that women can go vote. I think that some sort of network that allows women to have childcare so they can get out of the house and go vote would be extraordinary. But also, take your kids with you so that they learn about their own civic duty too, if you can. But I just think that leading up to election day, there's a lot that we can do to support women by giving them rights to the polls, by making sure they have child care. And so, if there's a woman in your life who's like working a ton of jobs who needs child care in order to go to the polls, offer to do that. Like make it so that our sisters can go to the polls.
Yes, that's right. All right, we're going to take one more final break before we give way to Meet the Press at the top of the hour. Beth and I are having a great time. We've still got Mayor Weber. We're here with us. We're going to just hang. We want to get his opinion on a couple of national issues in the last segment and get him to list his winner for the week. We do winners and winners as we close the show. We're here with Mayor Weber, and we'll take one quick call after this break. If it is civil, we had a caller call in and start the call with me by trying to curse me out, Beth. Started the call by calling me a name and cursing me out. And all I did was put him on hold while we were running a live radio show to, get to an appropriate time to take the call. But real sorry about that. We don't tolerate uncivility here on Call a Reason. We're passionate, but we're not idiots, and we're not low class. So we don't have any space for cursing anyone out on this show, because that's not the appropriate way to communicate your concerns. Not in our book, at least. Beth, we're going to keep it rolling. We'll be back right here on the other side of the break. Y'all stay tuned and come back to join us and Mayor Weber at Talk 1260 and 1037. Talk 1260 and 1037. KTRC Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. We'll be right back.
You got a nice eclectic mix.
Oh, I love Joan Jett, man. Are you kidding?
Isn't there a documentary out of that?
Uh-huh.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason.
There sure
Santa
is.
Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint. Here on KTRC.
Oh, that's cool.
Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Winner of the week. Tough call. Dr. Ford.
Relax, refresh, renew. Relax in the serenity.
That's about it.
Yeah.
It's unanimous.
Yeah, she's
She's the winner.
and the other women who have come forward as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Dr.
But
Ford.
she was there under the spotlight, nervous as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, close to her emotional limits.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept it together.
She did.
Tough.
She did. She kept it together. It was an amazing performance, and just so much. I can't believe we're still going through this in 2018. I can't believe it.
I can.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I can believe it. I mean, it's things like well, you said it as I was listening as I was driving over. The old order doesn't give way.
Mm-mm.
People don't just say, "Oh, I was wrong. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now." All of a sudden, they hold on.
Well,
With a death
again,
grip.
and we
It's a death grip.
follow the lead too. So we've got a president who is the most unrepentant
they see demographics in the United States changing, and now we have more women going into the legal profession than ever before, and also more women going into medical school than ever before, and we see the times turning, and some of these guys, they don't like, they're afraid of the change. I think that they're just afraid of not being empowered anymore, and
That's right.
that's what we've witnessed.
And that's where the big money is. And the big money is, the big money is still banking on the status quo.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
The exchange that I found so extraordinary was between Senator Klobuchar
yes.
and Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, when he had the unmitigated gall to turn the question around on her, I was hoping she was going to channel her inner Bobby Kennedy and say, just a minute, I'm asking you the questions here. But she was too polite. She was actually civil to him while he was being impudent, arrogant, disrespectful, and he got away with it.
I think that contrast was good. That when people talk about women being emotional or women, losing it, or she didn't do any of those things, and there was a stark contrast between her and Kavanaugh, and his petulant outbursts were just extraordinary.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. Certainly, if anyone came into his court acting like that, he'd probably completely lose his shit.
Contempt of court. The mask really slipped at that moment. That was where you got to see the real frat boy who cannot abide a strong woman challenging him.
Mm-hmm.
And it just...
And let me ask you this. Why would he lie about partying in high school? If he had just come on and said, you know what, like everybody else, I partied in high school, I drank too much, and there are things that me and my friends did that I'm embarrassed about. I never committed this crime. But, if he had any sort of realness about him, I think it would have made things so much better.
So much better. It would have made it so much easier, but for him to act like he was a choir boy and kept a calendar, social calendar in high school, who get the fuck out? Nobody does that stupid shit. Plus, I don't know. He's just that kind of white dude I beat up in high school. Unless I was trading the weed I had for the beer that he had, because that's what I used to do. I used to trade weed for beer, and because they always had beer. Like, I don't know how somebody's daddy must own a liquor store, because they always had like a keg and 20 cases. All right, here we go.
Sense and Reality Radio with your host Loveless Johnson III.
But the point is, we all did stupid shit in high school. And they're acting like we didn't, he didn't, which is ridiculous. Let's get this party started now.
What's the year on that?
77. Oh, 79. It's my state rate year. Bring it back to the 70s. Toot, toot. All right, we're back with the mayor right here on Call to Reason. Right here on Talk 1260 and 1037 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader, 9:53. Beth, we're headed down the stretch. Gonna get into our winners and winners before